Pokemon creepypastas are some of the most intense gaming-themed creepypastas and scariest out there. Often these online urban legends take the concept of the game and twist it, leading to nostalgic players experiencing horrific consequences when something goes wrong in their game. Or they stumble upon a nefarious copy of one of the original titles, which is always no good. So today we are taking a closer look at a few of those, but with a slight twist. All of the ones we've included on this list are Pokemon creepypastas that have actually been adapted into video games that you can download and play. Typically for free too. We only have 5 for you today since the creepypastas can get quite long. So with that in mind, let's get to our list of the top Pokemon creepypastas you can play. Starting us off in at number 5, Pokemon Cursed Forever. Cursed Forever's creepypasta is as follows. The narrator begins their tale by saying they've always loved Pokemon, specifically the first 3 Game Boy titles, Red, Blue, and Yellow. Hating emulators, they managed to find a copy of Pokemon Yellow and an old Game Boy Color to play it on. After he bought them and returned home, he attempted to play the game. Immediately though, he realized that the title lacked sound. Assuming the cartridge was a little glitchy, he wasn't surprised when the music kicked in at the main title screen, and that Pikachu, who appears on the title screen, was missing his eyes. When Professor Oak appeared, his head and arms were missing. When our narrator decided to test out the previous game saved on the cartridge, it got even weirder. Pikachu's special emotion window appeared and the electric Pokemon looked incredibly solemn. Then the game continued in Professor Oak's lab. Pallet Town was not like how our narrator remembered it to be. It was entirely deserted with only himself and the lab remaining. Walking north of the town in the tall grass brought forth more surprises. The grass was populated by Pokemon who should not have been there, like Gengars and Alakazams and Cubones. The only option that appeared when he'd get into a battle was run. Eventually the player got to Viridian City, which was severely glitched. The only building they could enter was the Poke Center, which looked demented on the inside. Nurse Joy was gone, but her Chansey was still there, who let out a deranged cry. And then a battle began between Chansey and the player. The only option available again was to run, but this time they couldn't escape. The Chansey then used an attack called a Cack-Ip. That's Pikachu spelled backwards, which is also, by the way, very difficult to say. Chansey then fainted. All of a sudden another Pokemon, an evil-looking Pikachu sprite appeared and a new battle began. Now, the player sprite had an HP bar, and the battle ensued. Long story short, a Cack-Ip wins the battle. And when the player returned to Viridian City, everything was even more demented, and text boxes appeared declaring that the player had caught a Cack-Ip. Eventually a screen appears on the player's Game Boy that reads, "Cursed Forever," and no matter what he did, what button he pressed, that screen would not go away, except for when he turned the Game Boy off. So, does this sound intriguing to you? Well, it has been adapted into a game that you can download online at GameJolt.com and play. Not an ad for them, they're just the place where you can get it. And at number 4, the original Pokemon Red and Blue, Lavender Town Syndrome. So this one is a bit of an exception on our list. It's the reverse, a creepypasta spawned from the game that you can in fact play, although you likely won't find yourself getting deathly ill. So let's backtrack a sec. One of the most prominent Pokemon creepypastas is Lavender Town Syndrome. It's an urban legend that tells of how kids in Japan, after playing the initial Pokemon Red and Green games, it came out as Blue in North America FYI, a bunch of them got really ill, to the point where there was allegedly reported suicides. This was caused by a specific high-pitched frequency that can be only heard by the ears of younger individuals. The Lavender Town theme was said to have this frequency, and depending on the version of the tale that you were reading, it was either added in maliciously by a member of the design team working on the games for Game Freak, later taken out in releases of the titles afterwards. Or it means there are demons really in your Pokemon game, which we doubt. Whether or not you believe the tale to be true, you can actually test it out yourself if you're able to get a copy of the original Japanese red or green cartridges, which might cost you a pretty penny nowadays, but hey, actually it'd be really hard to test out if you're like over the age of like 15, 16. You're not gonna hear it, and then, I mean, I'm sure it would be an experience to play the original Japanese games. It'd be really cool to see the differences, but you're probably not gonna force yourself to get ill and then commit suicide from it, so... In at number 3, Pokemon Black. This fictional version of Pokemon Black is said to turn its players into cold-blooded killers. Fun! Not to be mistaken with the actual 2010 Pokemon Black, this one spawned from a creepypasta and was a game that was said to have been salvaged from a flea market in 2005. It begins as Pokemon Red and Blue do, but instead of choosing between 3-star Pokemon, you get to choose between 4, with the 4th being a Pokemon called Ghost. Now if you select Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur, your game is exactly the same as it is with any other Red and Blue game. But if you select Ghost, the Pokemon doesn't start at level 5 like the others do. It starts at level 1, and it only has one move titled Curse. Not that that matters though, because almost every single Pokemon who faces Ghost is, I quote, too scared to move. When Curse is used, the screen cuts to black, you hear the cry of the opposing Pokemon, and then the screen will reappear, with the Pokemon having disappeared entirely. Aside from that, everything is normal. But after defeating the Elite Four, the game goes askew again, with text appearing on the screen that reads, "Many years later, ... And then the screen cuts to Lavender Town. Your sprite becomes an old man looking at tombstones in the town, no longer having any Pokemon in your roster, not even Ghost. The game is now empty of people, with only tombstones remaining scattered throughout the land. It's revealed to you then that everyone you cursed with Ghost's curse move was killed by you and your Pokemon. You then come across Ghost once more, in a battle, with your only move being Struggle, which chips down your health until it is almost entirely depleted. Ghost then uses Curse on you and your screen fades to black. Now if you reboot your Game Boy, your saved game is gone. But hey, you can still play it, because often referred to as Pokemon Creepy Black, you can download mods to play on emulators that allows you to experience this unsettling version. No word on whether or not it permanently deletes on your computer, so if you know, let us know in those comments below. And at number 2, Snow on Mount Silver. The Snow on Mount Silver creepypasta follows a sister and brother, narrated by the former, who grew up together collecting Pokemon games. Now as they got older, they decided to dabble with hacking some of those games using a Game Shark. But when it failed, the sister, our faithful narrator, gave up on hacking games for the most part. Her brother, on the other hand, became obsessed. One day after returning from a sleepover at a friend's, the sister came home looking for her brother, wanting to trade Pokemon with him after having a particularly hard time with the Elite Four in Pokemon Gold. When she found her brother though, she discovered all of his Pokemon cartridges smashed and damaged on their living room floor, and him sitting on the edge of his bed in his room, his face pale, a hammer in hand, and his Game Boy Advance destroyed. When she went over to give him a hug, he saw her Game Boy Advance in her pocket and screamed, hurtling it across the room and hitting the nearby wall. The sister went over and turned it on to see if it still worked. It did, but when the Pokemon theme began to play out of it, her brother screamed once more, picking up the hammer. He ended up in the hospital in the psych ward for 2 days. Now, during his stay, he asked his sister to get rid of whatever games were left in his room. But when she arrived back home, curiosity got the best of her. She had to see what he had seen, what had made him go manic in this way. She found the Game Shark code that he had last used in his notes, a string of unintelligible numbers and letters with the phrase Easter egg Snow on Mount Silver written next to it. So she tossed in the cheat code into his GBA with Pokemon Silver. Now the opening titles were perfectly normal. It wasn't until she saw the time on the saved game that she knew something was off. It read 999 hours and 99 minutes. Whoa. Eventually a dim map appeared and it looked like static, but as she kept looking, turns out it was actually the Mount Silver map, that static being heavy falling snow. So she began to explore. Her sprite hit an invisible wall, and text appeared that read, "I can't turn back now." Even after using an escape rope, she still couldn't leave the area. More strange dialogue continued to appear over the next several minutes, including the sprite announcing that he was cold, and her brother's Pokemon in his roster were all dying off. At the summit of the mountain, Red was no longer there. Instead, it was Celebi, whose sprite looked mangled. It used a move called Perish Song, and a screech came out of her Game Boy Advance. She was teleported to a cave rather than a Pokemon Center, and all of her Pokemon were now mauled. The trainer on her brother's trainer card was missing a leg. All the Pokemon looked frostbitten. Eventually she came across Red's sprite. A battle began. Each of their Pokemon were barely alive, their sprites mangled, and every time they fainted, rather than the text box stating as such, it said that that Pokemon had died, which is not a thing that can happen in the regular games. Eventually our narrator had come to the conclusion that this sub-level of the mountain was some type of hellscape where all of these deceased Pokemon, her sprite and Red sprite, now lived. Eventually after the battle ended, a now mangled looking Red said the words, "It's over." Text appeared that said, "Use Destiny Bond," and our narrator's screen went white, followed by a painful screech emitting from the Game Boy speakers. Then the screen went black. She tossed the game out, the Game Boy, and the Game Shark. Her and her brother have never been able to play a Pokemon game since, so traumatic experience. But you still can, including an adapted version of this creepypasta. Just give mod for Snow on Mount Silver a Google, and you'll find it. This one is also at GameJolt.com. And finally at number 1, Hypno's Lullaby. Hypno's Lullaby is one of the more interesting and unique creepypastas on our list. It began as a creepypasta poem in the vein of the Pied Piper, in which the psychic Pokemon Hypno lures children away from their homes using his hypnotism abilities and then feeds on their dreams for all of eternity. Here's a taste of the poem for you. I quote, "Come little children, come with me. Safe and happy you will be. Away from your homes now let us run. With Hypno you'll have so much fun. Oh little children please don't cry. Hypno wouldn't hurt a fly. Be free, be free, be free to play. Come down in my cave with me to stay." It gets darker from there too. The poem began circulating around 2010, and then the same year a YouTuber uploaded an actual song using the poem, which was creepy AF, and scored itself 3 million views. Now you can actually download a fan-made version of the game, which began circulating online around 2013. It's actually a ROM hack of Pokemon Fire Red, and you encounter an evil Hypno who kidnaps children, which actually sounds like a really fun thing to deal with. I mean, like, obviously bad for the children, but exciting gameplay for you. Alright, there we have it, friends. If you guys have any recommendations for creepypastas adapted into games that you can play, be sure to give us a shout in those comments below and let us know about them. If you dug this video, you know what to do. Spread that love, hit that thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one. In the meantime though, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.